Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis with episode 2 of Codex Analysis Militarum Tempestus. Today will possibly be the longest Codex Analysis video to date because we are covering every single unit in the Codex in today's video. Now that might seem like an absolutely crazy thing to go and try, but I can tell you the amount of units in this Codex is 1, technically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. There are 6 units in this codex. That's it. And while I will go through in every single one in as much depth as I can, I think this could go quite long if I'm not careful. So one thing I want to clear up from episode 1. Someone suggested I go and have a look at the FAQs, so I did. So with that warlord trait I was talking about, grab shoot commandos, it states in the codex, all units in the same platoon as the warlord can only scatter D6 rather than 2D6. Now, I went and looked at the FAQs, which I have right next to me on my iPad, and they tell me that replace the word platoon in this rule with detachment. So your entire Militarum Tempestus detachment only scatters D6. That's your whole army with the exception of commissars, who would have to foot slog because they don't have deep strike. But wow, that rule is good. And if I am right, I'm going to double check it. Actually, I'll cover it later in the video when we come to Valkyries. I think that may even affect grab shoot insertion, but I will check when we get there. So let's go through all the units in this codex, shall we? So, the Commissar, he is 25 points. He is dirt freaking cheap. So, he is Weapon Skill, Ballistic Skill 4, Strength and Toughness 3, 1 Wound, Initiative 3, 2 Attack, Leadership 9, and 5+ Save. He is a HQ, an infantry character, and he has flak armor, a bolt pistol, close combat weapon, frag grenades, and crack grenades. He is an independent character, and he is also stubborn, meaning that he's always Leadership 9, which is nice, or always Leadership 10 if you do get that extra Warlord trait. He has Summary Execution, so if the Commissar's unit fails a Fear, Morale, or Pinning check, so not order checks, after any rerolls it's allowed, i.e., actually I don't know if there is one, I don't know if you can ally a Psyker in to give you reroll leadership tests, or was there a Warlord trait that did it? I don't think there was. I don't think so anyway. No, there was nothing about re-rolling leadership tests. There's a lot of leadership buffs, but there's nothing to do with re-rolls. So after you've gone through any re-rolls that you get through whatever twisted means you have, the only player can opt to have his commissar summarily execute one Militarum Tempestus model in the unit. Roll a d6. On a 3+, you kill a dude. Simple as that. On a 1 to 2, your opponent chooses instead. Note that neither player can ever choose to execute the commissar, so you can't make the commissar do that. The executed model is immediately removed as a casualty with no saves of any kind allowed. Provided a model was executed, the unit is then treated as having passed the test. Now, being Leadership 9 stubborn, and if you can get a reroll, you won't need to use Summary Execution all that much, because I don't think you want to. You have a Commissar in a unit, that unit is maximum 10, and you have to take a morale check. You've already lost 3 dudes to make you take a morale check, so you're down to 7. You execute a dude, you're down to 6. 6 dudes left, and that's awful. You could end up killing, if you're not careful, your Vox, your special weapons, or maybe your sergeant, but I don't think the sergeant matters that much. You can actually, I would suggest you execute the sergeant if you've got the commissar in there, because he's got the higher leadership than the sergeant. He's stubborn, so you're never going to rely on that sergeant's leadership or his extra attack, and he's only got a pistol which has 12-inch less range than your normal guns. You do risk it, but I think it's worthwhile. So, he may take items for melee weapons. How many melee weapons do you have? You have 2. You have the power weapon and the power fist. Now, this does include power axe and power maul as well as the obvious power sword. I generally go power sword because, well, it's AP3 and I like AP3, but I can understand a power axe as well to make you strength 4, is it? Yeah, strength 4 AP2 at initiative 1. You're generally going last most of the time anyway against most melee units, with the possible exception of orcs, then you cry. But that's fine. Power fist, never. I never take power fists. May replace his bolt pistol with a bolt gun for free. So you lose an extra attack in melee, but you get an extra couple of shots at a longer range. Okay, worthwhile trade. I recommend you generally do that. Yes, you lose the iconicness of a commissar with a bolt pistol, but I think that's a better upgrade. And a plasma pistol for 15 points. If you are going to go full on spam out AP2 because you're facing Deathwing or you're facing a lot of monsters, good upgrade. 15 points makes him, it does nearly double his points cost, bear that in mind. And then you may upgrade to a Lord Commissar for 40 points, meaning a Lord Commissar in this codex costs 65, which is dirt cheap. And for that, you get Weapon Skill 5, Ballistic Skill 5, Strength Toughness 3, 3 wounds, and Initiative 3, 3 attacks, Leadership 10, a 5+ save, and he also gains a Refractor Field for a 5+ invuln, making him, and I'm not joking, the most resilient dude in the whole codex. Because nobody else has an invuln in the whole codex. He is the most resilient dude there. And he also gains access to all the same options as your normal Commissar, but you can also go to Special Issue War Gear. Now, I would say that's great, but all that is Carapace Armor for 5 points and Melter Bombs for 5 points. Generally, take both. Because Carapace Armor, 4+ save, infinitely better than a 5+ save, especially considering bolt guns and pulse rifles, and I believe Eldar weapons are LAP 5, so you may as well get that 4+ save. And it brings you in line with the rest of your army as well, so you can't just be sniped out. And Melter Bombs, well, you have a Warlord trait that works around grenades, so yes. Plus, it gives you another anti-tank option if you really, really need it. For example, if you're going a lot of Strength 7, then you don't have many melters. It's another way of getting access to it for 5 freaking points. Why not? So here's those two are your standard HQs. There is a second HQ choice, and that is the Militarum Tempestus Command Squad. The nearest thing to your only order unit, actually. It's your only order unit in the whole book. So, your squad is made up of 4 Tempestus Scions, who are Weapon Skill 3, BS 4, Strength and Toughness 3, 1 Wound, Initiative 3, 1 Attack, Leadership 7, and a 4+ save. Your Tempestus Prime is Weapon Skill, Ballistic Skill 4, Strength and Toughness 3, 2 Wounds, Initiative 4, did I get that right? Yeah, he's now been FAQ to be Initiative 4, 2 attacks, Leadership 9, and a 4+ armor save. Not bad. He's also a character, but he's not independent. Now that's good. That's not a bad setup, and the only issue is, as I'm going to come on to in a minute, so they have Carapace Armor. Everybody has a hot-shot lasgun, except the Tempestus Prime, who has a hot-shot las pistol and a close combat weapon for no reason, other than it differentiates him. And I think that sucks, because it's a 6-inch range pistol. Can I just not keep a lasgun and have the option to swap? I'd like that. But no. Frag and crack grenades are standard. Nice, like it. They have deep strike and move through cover, so you are very, very maneuverable. You can deep strike if you want to, and if you want to run that list, go nuts. Or you can sneaky around with move through cover. Your Tempestus Prime also has voice of command. So he is your only order unit, and he has access to all 6 orders in Militarum Tempestus Codex, which I covered in episode 1, which if you haven't seen it, there'll be a link in the description. So, where's the problem? Well, there's no senior officer mechanic in this book. Now, you might think that's not a problem. There are no senior officer orders to exploit. But senior officer gives you a second order to issue per turn. This dude can only issue 1 order. And I want to be issuing more than 1 order. So I have to take both my HQs as Tempestus Command Squads, which is okay. But at 85 points a throw, plus all the upgrades I know I'm going to be sticking on them, it's pricey for getting 2 orders. So, could be better. But they do have Clarion Voxnet, so all friendly units from Codex Militarum Tempestus within 18 inches of the Prime, not the squad, just him, use his leadership for fear, morale, or pinning checks. So basically everybody in 18 inches for everything except orders is leadership 9. So it's like you have a commissar in every single squad without the execution problem. Yeah, you don't have stubborn either, but no worries. And if you do get that Warlord trait for +1 leadership, everybody within 18 inches is leadership 10. Oh, hang on, I've forgotten something. Sorry, I need to rewind to the Lord Commissar. Sorry, I missed this completely. Any friendly unit from Militarum Tempestus within 6 inches of a Lord Commissar also uses his leadership for fear, morale, or pinning checks. That's what reminds me, because Aura of Discipline is basically a tiny bubble version of Clarion Voxnet, basically. So everyone within 6 inches is leadership 10. Cool. I mean, they're not stubborn like he is, but no problems there. Clarion Voxnet, though, you can easily use this to basically make it a Commissar bubble. That means you don't need that Lord Commissar. Tempestus Prime may take items from melee weapons. No. You don't put order dudes in melee. You might think, oh, but he's got 2 wounds and his initiative 4, so he might, and his weapon skill 4, so he might do some damage. No. He's still a guardsman. At the end of the day, he's still strength and toughness 3, even with 2 wounds. which means that unless it's, I don't know, an orc knob with no upgrades, which it never happens, he's still going to die. So you may as well kit him out to hide, because that's what officers do, generally. You don't want them on the front line getting stuck in. You want them making everybody else better at killing things. That's my opinion anyway. So, you also may replace his hotshot las pistol with a bolt pistol for free or a plasma pistol for 15 points. Take the plasma pistol if you can, because you gain 4 strength, you gain 1 AP, sorry, is it gain 1 or lose 1? Your AP is 1 better, so your AP 2, and you gain 6-inch range. All you have to pay for that is gets hot. I don't care about gets hot all that much. It rarely happens, and it's just the best upgrade. It is. Bolt pistol, yeah, if you know you're facing Tyranids, orcs, and things with t-shirts, then yeah, okay. But generally, plasma pistol is the way to go. One scion may carry a Voxcaster for 5 points. Take the Voxcaster, because if this squad doesn't have a Voxcaster, nobody can re-roll their order test because both squads have to have one. It also says here in the errata that a scion with a Voxcaster may replace his las gun with a hotshot las pistol. Why? Why, I have no idea. Why would I want, unless, no. I don't know why you'd want to make that trade. You want them as far away as possible. Same as with the Prime. I want my Prime to have a las gun. I'm not going to take a las gun away to give him a 12-inch less range gun. Especially because he doesn't have a close combat weapon, this Vox dude. So you don't even get an extra attack for it. Why? Why is this rule here? Why does this exist? I don't know, but it does. And it is free if you really want to do it. One other scion may carry a platoon standard for 10 points. Now, platoon standard, if my brain is still functioning, is +1 combat resolution. Yes, basically it counts for scoring an additional wound for the purpose of calculating melee results. Yay. Useful things on a command squad. Not useful at all. It's pointless. Because, as I've already said, you don't want to be putting order dudes in melee. I don't want to say that anymore. So, don't. If it was a company standard, which gave that 12-inch reroll test bubble, that would be amazing. But it's a platoon standard, so it sucks. One other scion may carry a medipack, feel no pain. Yes, I think this is a good upgrade if you have the point. It's not an auto-include, but if you've got the point, go for it, because it's feel no pain. And on a 2-wound dude with a 4-up armor, there's a good chance you'll probably get some mileage out of that feel no pain. Plus, it means that you've got more chance of your ablative wound surviving before your commander goes down. Up to 4 scions that have not been upgraded, so not a Vox guy, not a standard guy, not a medic guy, so anything between 1 and 4 dudes that may replace their hotshot las gun with a special weapon. So this is not a lot of things. So you've got the Flamer for 5 points. Okay. Grenade launcher, 5 points. Not bad, especially if you can give it an order for a buff. Hotshot volley gun, which according to this errata is not gets hot. That was a mistake. That was a typo. So it's just good. Strength 4 AP 3, salvo 2-4. Very, very good. Melter gun, 10 points. Generally, this is the one that most people run because Melter is a BS4. It's a good combo. And you can give out twin linked. No complaints there. Plasma gun, 15 points. My personal favorite because it's AP2. You get 2 shots, further range, AP2, best gun, which is why it costs the most. Now, bear in mind, if you want to give everybody an upgrade, so you want to buff your commander to have a plasma pistol, and then you take up a standard, and a Vox, and a medic, and then you give your last dude, let's say a hotshot volley gun, you are going to spend, oh god, where's my maths gone? 85, 15, 10, 15, 5, 30, 15, 15, 140. Sorry, my maths brain died. And you can give, can you? You should. And, can you? No, we can't. Oh, so you can't even give your commander melter bombs either, just so you know. So it's 140 points, 145 if you go the whole hog. That means you upgrade everything. You can only go up to 145 points for this squad, which is 150 points of goodness. And that's still pretty cheap by some standards. I mean, by guard standards, it's really expensive, but it's not bad. And you generally don't need the standard. You can live without the medipack. You can live without the plasma pistol or the special weapon if you just want to hide. So, yeah, you could probably get this squad for 100 points and say, I'm good to go. And if you wish, you may take a Torx Prime as a dedicated transport, which I'm going to cover a little bit later. Militarum Tempestus Scions, 70 points for 5, which gives you 4 Scions and a Tempesta. So they cost 14 points. No, they don't. They cost 12 points a throw, and then you pay 10 points for the Tempesta. So a Scion is, as I've already mentioned, Strength 3, toughness, BS 4. Yeah, Strength 3, Toughness 3, Weapon Skill 3, Ballistic Skill 4, 1 Wound, Initiative 3, 1 Attack, Leadership 7, 4 plus Save. Tempesta, same stat line, 1 or more attacks, so there's 2 attacks, and Leadership 8. Leadership 8 is the main thing you want him for because orders. They have carry-base armor. Everybody had a hotshot lasgun except the Tempesta, who has a pistol and close combat weapon for no reason. Frag grenades and crack grenades are standard, deep strike, and move through cover. Very solid, very powerful. May include another 5 in the squad, meaning a full-size squad costs you 130. Tempesta may take melee weapons. Maybe, I guess. Maybe you could get away with taking a power sword or a power axe or something, because it might do some damage, but you're probably going to die before you get to use it. You may replace his hotshot las pistol with bolt pistol or plasma pistol. You don't need to take this one because, well, it's not probably going to get as much time to fire, but a plasma pistol is not going to hurt. One dude may carry a Voxcaster, and again may swap his lasgun for a pistol for no reason. So Voxcaster, yes, because that way you can reroll your order tests, assuming your command squad has a Voxcaster, which it should. 2 dudes that have not been upgraded with anything may take a special weapon. Now, I think hotshot volley guns and plasmas, but you can also suggest melters, particularly if you're running flyers or deep striking, or possibly running Torxes, but not when you're foot slogging. And they may take a Torx Prime as a dedicated transport, and they are your troop unit. So all your troops will be Scion squads, who cost 130 points per full-size squad, which is 40 points less than a tactical squad, but basically every stat except ballistic skill, wounds, and attack is worse than a tactical squad. The weapon is better, debatably. So, yeah, they're not the best for their points, but they will kill anything that hasn't got a 2+ save very efficiently, especially if you give them the sniper order for wounding on 4s. So, the Torx Prime is your transport vehicle. It says here literally it's a fast attack, but you can, I think, take them on their own as a fast attack unit, but generally they're dedicated transports. So they're BS 4, front armor 11, side 10, rear 10, 3 hull points. They are fast and a transport. So they're very quick, but maybe not very resilient because that is Rhino stats. They have a Torx battle cannon, which, oh, geez, the stats gone out of my head. Torx battle cannon, which is 48-inch range, strength 7, AP 4, heavy 1 blast. So it's an auto cannon, but you gain 1 blast template and lose the 2 normal shots. And I think it was a hotshot volley gun you got. Was it a hotshot volley gun? And a twin-linked hotshot volley gun, even better, for strength 4, AP 3, salvo 2 for goodness. I don't know what salvo works like with vehicles. I think it just means you can fire 4 shots all the time, which if it is, brilliant. It is an all-terrain APC, so it rerolls failed dangerous terrain tests, which is great to synergize with dropping Scions off in a really awkward spot with their move through cover, and it can still get away. It has a capacity of 10, so you cannot take a full-size Scion squad plus a Commissar, which sucks. It has 2 fire points on each side, so 4 fire points, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1 access point on each side and 1 at the back, so 1, 2, and 3. And it may take items from the vehicle equipment list, which is actually the most comprehensive equipment list in the whole book. So, Searchlight, 1 point. No, pointless. Relic plating, 3 points. If you've got 3 points lying around for some reason, why not? Dozer Blade, 5 points. You already re-roll Dangerous Terrain Test, so you probably don't need a Dozer Blade to, I think it's flat out ignore it. Stormbolter or Heavy Stubber, I think it was. Yeah, Stormbolter or Heavy Stubber for 5 points. The Stubber is 4, 6, 3 shots, and the Stormbolter is 4, 5, 2 shots, so I think it has less range. So I think you get away with the Stormbolter because you're normally going to be up close pretty quickly. Recovery gear, 5 points. Very useful because you fix yourself if you get stuck. And it gets around the dangerous terrain reroll. You basically will never get stuck based on that. Smoke launchers, 10 points. If you want to pop smoke on the first turn, I'm not going to stop you. I generally forget that smoke launchers are a thing, so that's my fault. Extra armor, 10 points. No, you're going to get glanced to death before you get penned. Fire barrels. Okay, fire barrels for 10 points. It means you basically get some sort of pseudo Overwatch, which is kind of meh, but it's better than nothing. Hunter Killer Missile, yeah, Hunter Killer Missile, 10 points. Basically, it's an unlimited range crack missile. You still have to hit, but that's generally not too hard. And then an auger array for 25 points. Now, I think the wording on this one is slightly different to the one in Astra Militarum. But before I do that, I'm going to check what it actually does. If you attempt to bring a unit on from reserve using Deep Strike and the location chosen is within 6 inches of a vehicle with an auger array, that unit does not scatter. It doesn't specify you needed to be on the board at the start of the turn. So you can rush a Torx Prime up the board and then just drop a Scion unit in. Technically, I think. Rules as written, you could go bring the Torx on, then bring the Scions on and not scatter. Rules as common sense, I don't think that's fair, because generally you'll be keeping your Torxes on the board most of the time, because, well, as much as they're not resilient, you need some board presence early on. And it's better than the Astra Militarum because you can start off the board if you really choose to, for example, with your command squad. Right, what else are they going to do? It may replace its battle cannon with a twin-linked Gatling cannon, which is basically a baby Punisher gun, for want of a better word. So the Gatling cannon is 24 inches, strength 4 AP, nothing, heavy 10. If you are a Tyranid or an Orc, run away now, because you're dead. If you are anything else that isn't probably a Guardsman, so from Tau upwards really, you're fine, but it's still going to possibly kill a few dudes, because it's strength 4, 10 shots, should do some damage. Or it may replace it for a Torx missile launcher for 20 points, which is basically a Cyclone missile launcher. 48-inch range, strength 4 AP, 6 heavy 2 blast, or 48-inch range, strength 8 AP, 3 heavy 2. That's really, really powerful, and it does damn sight better than a single 7-4 blast. So generally a missile launcher is good, but it is expensive. It may also replace its hotshot volley gun with a twin-linked autocannon. So if you want to go full strength 7 for an anti-vehicle Torx, you can go missile launcher autocannon, because that autocannon swap is free. So it's definitely worth doing, unless you know you're facing a lot of infantry, or basically anything infantry that's a marine, basically, because strength 7 AP4 versus strength 4 AP3 with twice as many shots and a bit less range. I'll take the strength 4 AP3 because I'm getting up close anyway. So the Torx Prime is 80 points base. If you give it the full weapons loadout, it costs 100. And vehicle equipment, I've gone through the points cost. Generally, you'll probably be topping out, depending on, with an auger array, you'll probably go up to about 130. Without, you'll probably top out about 110. Then we have the Valkyrie, the flyer. You don't get the Vendetta, which stinks, because the Vendetta was amazing. So it's 125 points, BS3, front 12, side 12, rear 10, 3 hull points, flyer, hover, transport. And you cannot take it as a squadron. So you couldn't, because platoons don't exist, squadrons don't need to exist. So you can only take them in units of 1. It has a multi-laser for strength 6, AP nothing, 3 shots. 2 Hellstrike missiles, which are basically long-range crack missiles, 72-inch, strength 8, AP3, single shot. Extra armor and searchlight. They're also one use only, by the way. So it has extra armor and searchlight as standard. So the extra armor, I don't know what use it is on flyers, but searchlight could be nice if you're still alive on the last turn somehow. Transport capacity 12, fire points none, 1 access point on each side of the hull, and 1 at the rear. So you could jump out on the left, jump out on the right, or jump out the back, depending on where you want to drop them off. Now, if you don't want to hover, i.e. you want your Valkyrie to keep whizzing around, you have grab, shoot, insertion. So if a Valkyrie moves more than 6, passengers may disembark. But they must do so like this. Nominate any point of which the Valkyrie has moved this turn. So you do it after it's moved. And then deploy the unit as if it were deep striking onto that point. Excuse me one moment. So you take the move over the unit, you move the Valkyrie, and then you drop the unit off anywhere over where it moved. So you deploy it as if it was deep striking onto that point. So now this synergizes with grab, shoot, command as well. I'll talk about that in a sec. If the unit scatters, every model must immediately take a dangerous terrain test. So if you roll a hit, great. So you don't take any risks. If you do scatter, everybody will take a possible wound on a 1, but you have a 4+ save, so you should probably lose 1 guy, generally. Maybe 2 guys if you're incredibly unlucky by laws of averages. If any model cannot be deployed, the unit is destroyed. It's dead. Because I'm assuming it just crashed and burned and died in some horrible and amusing manner. So why does grab, shoot, commandos benefit this? Because it says as if it were deep striking. And if you're deep striking with grab, shoot, commandos as your warlord trait, you only scatter D6 rather than 2D6, meaning you are far less likely to crash into something, cannot be deployed, and die. Great. Thank you for that. Plus, it doesn't say... Well, I just think it's a really good synergy to have. You'll still take the dangerous terrain test if you do scatter, but it's a great mitigation nonetheless. Oh, I stand corrected on everything I said earlier about squadrons. May include up to 2 additional Valkyries for 125 points. So, great. So, 3-man team, 375. Any Valkyrie member possesses multi-laser with a las cannon. As your only source of anti-flyer in this codex, take that las cannon. Every single time. It's the only thing in the book that's BS3 as well, which stinks. But it will hopefully hit something. It may replace its Hellstrike missiles with 2 multiple rocket pods. Because you need that anti-flyer, again, I would say no. But if you need more anti-infantry, i.e. you're fighting Nid carpet of Nids or something, or you're fighting swarms like Necron Scarabs, you might want to consider this. Strength 4 AP6, 24 inches large blast, so it's a shorter range, larger blast frag missile. And then not one use only, which is their main upside. May take a pair of sponsons armed with heavy bolters for 10 points. I thought it was 20. Well, I'm not going to complain. So that's good. 10 points gives you 2 more weapons for anti-infantry purposes. They won't touch flyers unless it's an alt bomber, but that's not a bad thing, I suppose. You don't really want any more than you've got. I don't know if Weapon Destroyed is still randomized. I thought it was. It might be attacking player, so it might just protect that las cannon or one of those missiles, which is good. And that's every unit in the codex. It's only taken me about half an hour, but I've covered every single unit in this codex. There are 2 more data sheets left, but they are formations, which I'm going to cover in episode 3, which will hopefully be coming out pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, what do I make of every single unit? Going through the book, what are the good units? What are the not so good units? So a Commissar, he's 25 points, and he's good. For his cost, he's good. A Lord Commissar, for his cost, is brilliant. The only thing you have to bear in mind is for every Commissar you take, you're not taking a command squad. And that means you're not getting orders. So for every time you take a Commissar, you are saying, I'm giving up half my orders. If I take a Commissar and then a Lord Commissar, I have given up my orders. Completely. And I don't know if I could live with that. I mean, if Commissars worked as they do in Astra Militarum, where you take 1 per Tempestus command squad, and then had a HQ slot free for a Lord Commissar, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But because of the way it upgrades, it doesn't work like that. So they're great in a bubble. But when you consider the fact that the command squad is almost vital because your orders are so important, they get kind of put to one side. Command squads are good. They are not very resilient, so you need to put them in cover. Because if you put them in a vehicle or a building, they can't issue orders. So you want them in cover, or preferably just out of line of sight entirely. Clarion Voxnet is really useful, particularly if you get that buffed Warlord trait. Always take a Vox. Generally, if you can take a Medipack, never take a Standard. Plasma Pistol if you've got the points. Scions are very reliable. They will generally kill everything that's not a Terminator or a monstrous creature, but you can still get around this by giving them out Rending or by giving them Sniper. So they are really quite efficient. I would like having an option to take something else in my troop section, because all the ability to platoon or blob up almost. I mean, I would happily say I'll take 2 units of Scions as 2 troop units and then sort of combine squads, or I'd like the ability to combat squad like Space Marines can. But that's wish listing. That's never going to happen because it's Tempestus, it's not Marines. As for upgrades, Vox every time, Plasma Pistol maybe, generally go up to 10. Unless you're planning to put a Commissar in the squad, in which case go to 9, always go to 10, because you just have more wounds and more shots that way. Torx Prime is the really, really good transport. I mean, it's super expensive. I mean, in Space Marine terms, I could get 2 Rhinos for one of these things. But I don't care. I'm getting a really good tank. Yeah, it's very flimsy, but I can hide it in cover. It's got that all-terrain trick, and you can give it a dozer blade if you really need to. And it packs some seriously good guns. I mean, missile launcher autocannon as a pairing, or missile launcher volley gun. Oh, geez, that's going to kill a lot of things with AP3 or AP4 or whatever, high strength. So they're really good and can be really versatile if you want them to be. Valkyries, I like Valkyries, but the fact that Vendettas exist in Codex Imperial Guard makes me think I'd rather just ally in Guard for a Vendetta. But they have a good transport capacity, so you can carry anything, and they can hurt flyers and tanks in a pinch, but ballistic skill 3, man. No twin linked. stinks. So that is every unit in Codex Militarum Tempestus for this episode. In the next episode, I will be covering all the formations, and I will also be giving my final thoughts on the Codex and whether it can stand alone as a Codex on its own or whether it is basically just an allied detachment. So, thanks for watching this video. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, and I will see you again.